Hi everyone, how's it going this evening? I decided to do my informative speech on the amount of Coloradans leaving the state of Colorado and why and where are they going. So, as I was doing my research, I stumbled across an article by 7 News, the Denver channel here, that stated that Coloradans are in a record high for people leaving the state of Colorado. Now, every year there's a census that is done by the U.S. Census Bureau, and basically it's a survey that every resident of every state will take, and that typically goes out around tax season. So the numbers from our Census Bureau for the year 2016 were actually really alarming to me. So, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, 193,000 Coloradans moved out of the state of Colorado in the year 2016, which is actually 10,000 more people than the previous year. So, that's a pretty big number in 1 year. Um, there was also 223,000 people that moved into Colorado in 2016, but that was actually 4,000 people less than in 2015. So as you can see, there's kind of a flop there for Colorado because the past few years we've actually seen a huge increase of people moving into Colorado. It's kind of our thing here in Colorado. We actually like to complain about people and ask nicely that they go home and leave our state. It's kind of put our state in an emergency type position because we're running out of jobs. There's so many people here that we're running out of jobs, we're running out of housing, and according to the Denver Post, those are actually the two biggest reasons why Coloradans are leaving. So unfortunately, when we get more people in, we're starting to lose more people. Housing prices are on the rise right now. Whether you are looking to buy a home or rent a home or rent an apartment, that has increased substantially, especially over the last 7 years. There was an increase of 57% in the housing market to buy a home, and there was an increase of 63.7% in the renting market to be able to rent an apartment or a home. The average home in the state of Colorado will sell for about $400,000, and that is closer to the Denver metro area. Now, if you were to live out where I live, which is about 90 miles east of the Denver metro area, you're looking at $250,000 to $300,000 to buy a home, and that's a single family home. You're looking at 2-3 bedroom house for that much money. Now, if you're wanting to rent, you're going to see that increase, that 63.7 increase in the past 7 years, which is a substantially huge number. You're going to see 1-bedroom apartments in downtown Denver for $1,100 a month. 1-bedroom apartment. And a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown Denver is going for about $1,350 a month. Now, out here on the Eastern Plains, a 2-bedroom apartment is going for about $900 to $1,000 a month, and a 1-bedroom apartment's about $850 to $950 a month, and that's just an apartment. Now, if you're wanting to get a house, you're going to have to pay a bigger amount. So right now, a 3-bedroom house in Denver would cost you probably about $2,000 to $2,500 a month to rent, and out here in the Plains, you're looking at about $1,500 to $1,800 to rent a 2-3 bedroom house. So that is definitely a huge factor, and I'm glad the Denver Post posted that information about why the rising house prices are contributing to residents of Colorado leaving. They also stated in the Denver Post that another reason was jobs that don't pay enough money. So like I said earlier, we have had such a huge rush of people coming into Colorado over the past several years that we're running out of jobs, and the jobs that we do have, we can't afford to pay. We have so many people that we have to put on the payroll that we can't afford to pay them the higher wages that you would see in different states. So, for example, if you come to Colorado and you're coming from a state like Wisconsin or Washington, you know, as a paralegal, you might make $23 an hour in Washington or in Wisconsin, but here in Colorado, you're looking at maybe $15 an hour. So that's a substantially lower income than you would get in a different state. And unfortunately, people are really looking into that right now and noticing that if they move to a different state, they'll have higher wages and a lower cost of living, lower house prices. So that's definitely some big factors as to why Coloradans are leaving the state of Colorado. Now, where are they going? Colorado, again with that census, actually did a survey that states where they have been going. So you'd be surprised, but there was the biggest number of Coloradans that moved out of the state of Colorado moved to Washington. And that was a pretty high number. It was 8,525 people in the year 2016 that moved to the state of Washington. So as you can see, there's many different reasons why Coloradans are moving out of the state of Colorado. But the two main factors is that low wages and increasing prices on housing. Unfortunately, Colorado's in a bit of a crisis right now with that, and while we still see an increase in population every year for the state of Colorado, we can't deny the fact that if something doesn't change soon with the lower wages and the higher cost of living, which would be like your rising prices on housing, then we're going to continue to see a decrease in our population. And I don't want to see that. I believe that's going to be a devastating blow to the state of Colorado. But right now, a lot of people are left with no other choice but to look into financial stability in a different state. So unfortunately, Coloradans are moving out of the state of Colorado due to a higher cost of living, higher prices on housing, and lower wages, and going to different states against their better judgment just so they can afford to live. So I really appreciate you listening to this. I think it's a big topic, and I hope that some changes happen soon, and I will see you all next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.